Hey everyone, I hope you find yourselves doing well. This is a video to help us with one more example for your homework for March 30th, writing in vertex form whenever you're given a graph. Alright, so I have the notes over here so you can kind of follow along with the steps as we go. For your homework, you're going to be given a couple different graphs. You're then going to need to write those graphs in a vertex form. So if we remember, over here, this is our vertex form. Couple things, your H and your K. Your H and K is always found by your vertex. Remember, your vertex is either your highest or your lowest point. So for this case, there's our vertex because that's my lowest point. So I'm going to need to write those coordinates out. The coordinates for this, you go over 1, negative 5, down 5. So it's 1, negative 5. Then you need one other point on your graph. You can use any point that you want. I'm going to use this point right here because it's given to me. I know it's exactly at that location. This is at 0, 0. So let's go over here to our notes. It says steps to write an equation in vertex form from a graph. Step 1. Substitute the vertex HK and any other point on the graph x and y into the vertex form. So my vertex is always HK. Always. Your other point, any other point on your graph, is your x and your y coordinate. And again, this one could be anything. This one specifically has to always be your vertex, so either your highest or your lowest point. So I'm going to take these numbers and I'm going to plug them in to my equation. So here it wants y. Well, my y is 0 equals a. Here it wants my x. My x coordinate is 0. Now this minus h says the opposite of h. So when I look in my h spot, I have a positive 1. However, I want the opposite of that, so it changes to a negative 1. Squared, and then plus k tells me to put whatever k value I have. My k value is a negative 5, so I'm going to put minus 5. Step 2 says solve for a. So I'm going to start by doing order of operations. Order of operations tells me first, for PEMDAS, to do my parentheses. So now I have 0 equals a. Inside of my parentheses, I have 0 minus 1. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. I'm still squaring that. And I have minus 5. After parentheses, PEMDAS tells me to do exponents. So I'm going to look here. I have negative 1 squared. Anytime you square something, you multiply it by itself. So this is like saying negative 1 times negative 1, which gives me a positive 1. Now this here, a times 1, I'm just going to flip that around to be what we normally are used to looking at. We don't normally write a times 1. We normally would write 1a, because this is still 1 times a. My whole goal here is to solve for a, so now I need to get a all by itself. This is where I start doing PEMDAS backwards. So I look for addition or subtraction. Well, it's subtracting 5, so I need to do the opposite of subtract 5, which is to add 5 on each side. That makes these cancel out. I now have 5 equals 1a. 1a is the same thing as just writing an a. I have now solved my equation for a. After I do step 2 where it says solve for a, step 3, substitute your vertex h and k and the a you solve for in step 2 back into the equation. This is going to give us our final equation. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my A and plug it in, as well as my H and my K, which I've already done once. So now I have Y. Let me make this a little bit thicker for you guys. Y equals there we go. Y equals A, which I just solved, is 5, times X, opposite of my H. My H again was a positive 1, so I change it to a negative 1, squared, then plus my K. Well, my K is a negative 5, so I'm just going to put that in my K spot. This is then my equation. Alright guys, if you have any questions, as always, feel free to give Miss Rowe or I a call. Also, you can give us an email, whatever is easier for you. Have a great day.